Then Imam Tahawiyyah, rahimahullah, he continues with another example. He said, وَالْجَهْمِيَّةِ وَالْجَبَرِيّةِ, and the Jahmiyyah and the Jabariyyah. Shaykh Fawzan said, they are the followers of Al-Jahm ibn Safwan at Tirmidhi. And in a footnote, they give a small biography of this leading deviant, Al-Jahm ibn Safwan. The Jahmiyyah being followers of Al-Jahm ibn Safwan, who is from the area of Tirmidh, or is mentioned as at Tirmidhi, meaning from the town of At-Tirmidh. In a footnote, they mention he was Abu Mihraz al-Rasibi, the foundation of Dalala, the foundation of misguidance, and the head of the Jahmiyyah. He was a person of cleverness and argumentation, and he used to deny the attributes and declare the Creator free and far removed, he claimed. His excuse for declaring Allah free of attributes was that he's declaring him free of imperfections. That's his excuse that he gave. And he used to say that the Qur'an is created and that Allah is in all places. And he used to say that Iman is just belief in the heart, even if the person speaks with kufr, with unbelief. I mean, even if a person on his tongue he says words of unbelief, but if he has Iman, if he's got belief in his heart, then he's a believer, in the saying of Jahm. And they refer you to Siyar A'lam and Nubala of Imam al-Dhahabi. Then they continue, or rather Shaykh al-Fawzan continued, he said, so they, the Jahmiyyah, are the followers of Al-Jahm ibn Safwan at Tirmidhi, whose biography we just heard. And he adopted the position of his Shaykh, his teacher, Al-Ja'ad ibn Dirham. I mean, where did Al-Jahm get this evil from? From his teacher, Al-Ja'ad ibn Dirham. Then again in the footnotes they give a brief biography of this deviant, Al-Ja'ad ibn Dirham. So they mention in the footnote, he, Al-Ja'ad ibn Dirham, the teacher of Jahm, he was the tutor of Marwan al-Himar. And he was the first one who innovated the saying that Allah did not take Ibrahim as a Khalil, as an especially beloved one, and that Allah did not speak to Musa. Concerning him, Al-Madaini said he was a Zindiq, an evil heretic. And Wahab used to say to him, I think that you are from the Halikeen. I think that you are from the people who are destroyed. And if Allah had not informed us that He has a hand, if Allah had not informed us that He has a hand and that He has an eye, we would not have said that. I mean, we say that because Allah Himself has said that, so we say it. This is a saying of Wahab in refutation of Al-Ja'ad. Then they say, and then he did not remain for long until he was crucified. I mean, Al-Ja'ad ibn Dirham, the teacher of Jahm, he didn't remain long before he was crucified. And then Shaykh al-Fawzan continues this chain of narration, this evil chain of narration. So Jahm learnt from his teacher Al-Ja'ad ibn Dirham. He said, and he took this evil saying of his from Talut, the Jew. From Talut, the Jew. Who himself took it from, so the chain of narration of evil continues, who himself took it from Labid ibn al-A'sam, the person who did magic, sihr, upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is the chain of narration of the position of the Jahmiyyah. Starting with Labid ibn al-A'sam, the Jew who did sorcery upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then from him learned his student, Talut, the Jew, and from him learned Al-Ja'ad ibn Dirham, and from him learned his student Al-Jahm ibn Safwan. So this is where the position of the Jahmiyyah comes from. Then Shaykh al-Fawzan said, and this madhab, this position, is the saying that the Qur'an is created. And also from their sayings is al-jabr, fatalism. I mean, the saying of the Jabariyyah. That was one of the sayings of Jahm as well. The saying that a person is compelled upon his deeds. This is also from the saying of the Jahmiyyah. And that the person is compelled upon his deeds. And other than this, they had other evil sayings as well. So therefore they were ascribed to al-Jahm and called the Jahmiyyah. So al-Jahm, he took it from al-Ja'ad, who lived at the end of the state of Banu Umayyah. And he was killed by Khalid ibn Abdullah al-Qasri. Min Ja'ad ibn Dirham, he was killed by this governor, Khalid ibn Abdullah al-Qasri. Then he mentions how this happened. He said, Khalid was giving the khutbah for the day of Eid al-Adha. And he said, ضحوا أيها الناس تقبل الله ضحاياكم فإني مضحم بالجعد بن درهم فإنه يزعم أن الله لم يكلم موسى تكليما ولم يتخذ إبراهيم خليلا. That Al-Khalid ibn Abdullah al-Qasri, he gave the khutbah for the day of Eid al-Adha, and then at the end of his khutbah he said, O people, perform the sacrifice of Adha. May Allah accept your sacrifices. And I am going to sacrifice Al-Ja'd ibn Dirham, because he claims that Allah did not speak to Musa directly and did not take Ibrahim as a Khalil, an especially beloved one. And then he descended from the mimbar and slaughtered him, because he was a zindiq, an evil heretic. So killing him was obligatory. And the people, the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, were thankful for that. And that is why Ibn al-Qayyim said in his Nooniyah, in his poem An-Nooniyah, which every line ends with a noon, he said, وَلِأَجْلِ ذَا ضَحَّى بِجَعْدٍ خَالِدُ الْقَصْرِيُّ يَوْمَ ذَبَائِحِ الْقُرْبَانِ لَقَدْ شَكَرَ الضَّحِيَّةَ كُلُّ صَاحِبِ سُنَّةٍ لِلَّهِ دُرُّكَ مِنْ أَخِي قُرْبَانِ. This part of the Nooniyah of Ibn al-Qayyim, that he said in it, with regard to this incident, and because of that, I mean because of what Al-Ja'ad ibn Dirham was saying, denying Allah's attributes and the like, he said, and because of that, Khalid al-Qasri slaughtered Ja'ad on the day when the people made their sacrifices. Every person of Sunnah gave thanks for that sacrifice. To Allah is ascribed the good which you did from a brother who is special and close. Then Shaykh al-Fawzan said, but he left, or rather he said, I mean that was the end of Al-Ja'ad in this world. Then he said, but Jahm took over from him. Al-Ja'ad was killed, but then Al-Jahm took over from him. So the position was ascribed to him. Means that the one who was upon it before was Al-Ja'd ibn Dirham, but it became famous with his student who took it over from him, Al-Jahm. So it's called the position of the Jahmiyyah. Then the Shaykh said, because he is the one who made it apparent. So he combined Al-Jabr, fatalism, and At-Tajahhum, the saying of the Jahmiyyah. And therefore the poet said, and he quotes another line of poetry, عَجِبْتُ لِشَيْطَانٍ دَعَى النَّاسَ جَهْرَةً إِلَى النَّارِ وَاشْتُقَّ اسْمُهُ مِنْ جَهَنَّمَ. He said, this is why the poet said with regard to Jahm, I am amazed at a devil who called the people openly to the hellfire, and whose name is extracted from Jahannam, from the hellfire. I mean Jahm. That Jahm called the people to these called the people openly to the hellfire, to disbelieving in Allah's attributes, and so on. And his name, Jahm, if you take the noon out of Jahannam, the hellfire, you end up with Jahm, his name. So he said, I'm surprised that he's a devil calling the people to this, calling the people to the fire, and it's so clear, his name is there. You take the noon out of Jahannam and you've got his name.